Good morning. I've got some breaking news, and it's not anything you have heard reported yet anywhere in the media. It's about our beloved mascot, Tank the tortoise. Let me show you our before pictures. Remember, here's Tank. Tank broke his beak and was at the hospital and was sent home, remember, with this whole apparatus so he could be tube fed. Well, I'm sure you want to see how Tank is doing now. Take a look. Let me get out of the shot. Tank is happy, healthy, home, eating on his own. And I've got to tell you, this is what gives me life and gives me joy. And I think Tank doesn't even have to be a metaphor for what we are doing here. But the possibility of love and hope and nurturing and healing is what must drive us as we face a very dangerous period in our history. So let me turn, though, to the topic of what the actual F is he saying today. Donald Trump is trying to spook us because he is himself spooked. His poll numbers are dropping, even with Republicans. He is losing support, especially due to his immigration policy, or rather the murderous rampage these racist Gestapo, Proud Boy-esque, unrepentant, masked thugs are havocing, right? This is not what we want in America. And so I've got a plan for us today. But first, I want to share with you something that the New York Times put together. And they took all of the video footage that has been supplied to them and has been public to date, showing the encounter between Officer Jonathan Ross and the late Renee Nicole Good. And what they do, and I'm going to show this to you, is demonstrate that he was not, in fact, hit by her car. Even the video that he provided from his phone, they explain what was going on with him at that moment. It appeared where the phone flipped. They can show you from different angles based on what was in his shot and what was in the other shots, what was going on. So I want to share that with you. So you can, I dropped a link in the chat right before the show, so you can go back to this later, and it is a gift link. Okay, so the headline, this is from the New York Times, and there's a couple different things going on here. Here, there's an article on the front page saying emergency call transcripts record a crisis unfolding in real time. But the piece I want to share with you is the video analysis of ICE shooting sheds light on contested moments. So let's play it, guys.
This is a cell phone video filmed by the ICE agent who shot and killed Renee Good in Minneapolis.
I just realized you might not be able to, are you able to hear that, guys? Because I was noticing that it wasn't coming through my earbuds. So can someone in the chat tell me, oh, you were able to hear it, wonderful. Okay, I'll start again.
This is a cell phone video filmed by the ICE agent who shot and killed Renee Good in Minneapolis. The White House press secretary said this footage reaffirmed President Trump's previous claim, based on other videos, that Miss Good, quote, didn't try to run him over, she ran him over. Watched in isolation, the cell phone video might look like that's the case. But
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. When I pop out here, I'll do this again. Sorry.
This is a cell phone video filmed by the ICE agent who shot and killed Renee Good in Minneapolis. The White House press secretary said this footage reaffirmed President Trump's previous claim, based on other videos, that Miss Good, quote, didn't try to run him over, she ran him over. Watched in isolation, the cell phone video might look like that's the case. But when analyzed alongside other angles of the shooting, synchronized by the times, a much more complicated picture is revealed. More footage will likely emerge, but the currently available visual evidence still shows no indication Agent Jonathan Ross got run over. The footage does provide some visibility into the positioning between the agent and Miss Good's SUV and the key moments of escalation. And it establishes, millisecond by millisecond, how Agent Ross put himself in a dangerous position near her vehicle in the first place. About 3 minutes before the shooting, footage shows Miss Good and her wife parked their maroon SUV in the middle of the street and began honking and heckling. Administration officials say they were impeding and blocking immigration agents. Footage shows 11 vehicles maneuver around the SUV, including this Chevy Tahoe driven by Agent Ross. When he exits, he's already filming Miss Good's SUV, not with a body camera typical of most law enforcement, but using a cell phone in his hand. It's not clear why. The agent's footage shows his interactions with Miss Good.
That's fine, dude. I'm not mad for it.
And her wife.
I'm not mad. That's okay. We don't change our plates every morning.
There's verbal jabbing.
It'll be the same plate when you come talk to us later. That's fine. U.S. citizen. You want to come at us?
We see the agent switching the phone from his right hand to his left as he heads toward the front seat of his Tahoe.
I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy.
During this time, on the other side of the SUV, 2 new agents arrive in a pickup. We see Miss Good motions them to go around her. Over the next 6 seconds, we see one agent reaching into the SUV, Miss Good starting to drive, then Agent Ross firing 3 shots. Now let's go back and analyze some of the key contested moments of the agent's cell phone video, alongside other footage to break down what happens during these critical 6 seconds. Here, the agent's cell phone footage shows he's moving directly in front of the SUV, as it's reversing and rotating towards him, initiating a 3-point turn apparently to leave. Law enforcement officers are trained to avoid doing this because it puts them in danger and often leads to the use of force against drivers. The cell phone is focused squarely on Miss Good. She looks down, shifts into drive, and begins turning to the right, away from the agent. Cut to this high angle and zoom in. We can make out the agent's body and his arm filming. We can also see, at the same time, he's beginning to lift his other arm. On these cameras, we can see what's happening around Agent Ross. The other agent is yelling orders and reaching into Miss Good's SUV. Her front tire spins as she continues turning right. Agent Ross is at least a few feet away from Miss Good's SUV. He does not appear to move out of the way. As the SUV rolls forward, the agent unholsters his firearm. We see in his cell phone video at this moment the camera drifting off to the left. The agent is no longer focused on filming. It's at this point in the cell phone video where it first looks and sounds like the agent's getting knocked violently. On the other camera, we can see what's happening. Here is Agent Ross aiming his gun at Miss Good. And here is his outstretched arm leaning toward her vehicle, which is barely visible behind the Tahoe. His phone, which is gripped in his left hand, flips over when the agent's hand lands on the front of the vehicle. There's an audible thud when it hits. The camera rotates up towards the sky. Again, while it appears the agent's getting knocked over, we can see that's not the case from the other angle, which shows he's standing with his hand near the headlight, his torso and legs away from the vehicle. In the cell phone footage, the agent's face flashes on screen, then it goes black. The other angle shows us why. We can see the agent's foot sliding, his hand bracing against the SUV, and his arm getting pressed into his chest. It is impossible to determine if this is happening because of the SUV's movement or the icy asphalt, or more likely, both. And what's very unclear because of the limited quality and availability of footage is whether the agent's upper body gets swiped by the vehicle as his left foot slides back. This moment is when Agent Ross fires. We see the other agent pull back from the SUV. Both of them stumble, apparently slipping on the ice. This is also the moment many have said looks like Agent Ross getting run over. And it does when watched at full speed. But looking more closely, we can see in multiple angles that there's a visible gap between the vehicle and his legs, indicating his feet are positioned outside the SUV's path. The agent's left hand is still against the vehicle and gripping his phone. We see as he fires, it's recording the clouds and the trees overhead. It's not because the agent is knocked to the ground. The other angle shows he's still standing, continuing to maintain his grip on his phone and his gun, and we see a clear growing gap between his body and the SUV as he fires a second shot and a third. None of the bullets have the effect of stopping the SUV. But they kill Renee Good. According to our analysis of audio from Agent Ross's cell phone video, this is his reaction.
What the fuck? You just fucking, what the fuck did you do?
According to a White House spokesperson, Agent Ross, quote, suffered internal bleeding after he was struck by the car.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
Later that
Oops. Okay. I'm going to now remove that. So just what we thought we saw when we first saw the video. It's hard to watch and see that. It's also hard to know that when the White House is claiming he suffered internal bleeding, did you know that there's two types of bleeding? Internal and external. The most common type of internal bleeding is a bruise. Look it up. A bruise is the most common type of internal bleeding. You saw all the things he had on his chest. You saw that he had his hand, apparently left hand, on the car with his cell phone, and he's discharging his gun. Could be anything. Could be his slipping. It could be the car brushing against him. He had no trouble walking. Now, what I also want to share with you is we are learning now more about how many times she was actually shot, right? And because these, what am I trying to say? I'm so sorry, guys. That the autopsy report, this information is now coming out. And it becomes clear when you hear about this, and I'm going to share this with you from the Minnesota Star, that the fire department, who I guess came there, actually I can't even share the Minnesota Star report because, my God, it is behind a paywall, but I can show you this. 1 second. Okay, I'll show you this. This is on Blue Sky, and maybe I can bump it up a little bit. Okay. So this is the Minnesota Star Tribune. Renee Good was found with gunshot wounds to her chest, arm, and head after the ICE officer shot her on January 7th. What I recall reading when I read this article was indicating that there were 4 places that she was hit, and that it included, if you, this is really hard to say this, obviously, but the chest, based on where the bullets were, you can kind of understand that the shot that killed her was when he was well away from the car on the side. The shot in her head was into her left side of her temple. So, and if I don't think I need to convince you. I think you know that she's not the only person this has happened to and that they are lying about. And so what I want to ask you to do right now is this. You can, let me just tell you, I want you to write down this number or take a screenshot. 202-224-3121. Again, that is 202-224-3121. I'm not selling you anything. This is the U.S. Capitol switchboard where you can call, and you need to ask for your senators. You need both of them. You'll call twice. You'll get transferred. I mean, you can also look up your senator's office number online if you want. But if you call the switchboard, they will connect you. Tell them what state. Say, I would like to speak with my senator. I live in Michigan or Minnesota or Utah. I don't care if your senator is a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care what they have said about ICE. I want you to call them. And I have a sample script for you. You can say whatever you want. It's better that you paraphrase this. So again, the number is, write this down, 202-224-3121. It is essential that you do this today. Today. I can't wait. And you may have to do it next week, but next week is the walkout. And Monday is MLK Day. There will be no one in their offices. Call today, 202-224-3121. Again, that is a Capitol switchboard. You'll ask to speak to your senator. They'll say what state, and they'll connect you to one of them, and then you'll call back and do the next one. Okay, here's my sample script for you. This is how I would do it. Someone's going to answer the phone. They're going to say, hello, Senator, Senator, I don't know who your senator is, Senator Schumer's office, or they're going to say, hello, Senator Slotnick's office. So here, I'll pretend I'm that person. Hello, Senator Slotnick's office. Hi, my name is Jennifer Taub, and I live in Detroit, Michigan, and I'm one of Senator Slotnick's constituents. I'm calling today to ask Slotkin, excuse me, Senator Slotkin to refuse to vote for any funding, any new funding of ICE, or you might want to say any funding of ICE. There is no way to reform this dangerous agency. I believe we should abolish ICE. It would be a crime to support these people, including Proud Boys, that are terrorizing our communities. Thank you. Another way of saying this is, and it's just the idea, right? When I read it, I sound stilted. They ring. Hello, Senator Slotkin's office. Hi, my name is Jennifer Taub, and I live in Detroit. I'm a constituent of the senator's. I even voted for her very enthusiastically. I am calling today because I am very concerned that the Senate is going to approve funding for ICE. And we can see that there is no way to reform this agency. DHS and Trump think they're doing their job, and we, the people, are seeing them terrorizing and murdering people on the streets. I think it would be a crime for you to support ICE, which includes people like Enrico Tarrio from the Proud Boys. They are terrorizing our communities. And then you can say, can you tell me what the senator is planning to do about the appropriation for the Department of Homeland Security? Okay, so I made a fancier one on the fly, right? I gave you the sample script with the basics. I gave you the basics. So if it's helpful for you, watch this part again add additional comments that I made. That's one way to do it, but do it. Don't be afraid. I know a lot of you watching the show have made calls before. It might be your first time calling. That's incredible. You might be nervous. Now, the other thing is you might not get through and you might be putting into a voice mailbox, and that's fine. If that frustrates you, go on to Google and find your senator's actual website and try to call their local office or what have you. But I don't want you to try to be perfect. I want you to call. Every call matters. And so again, that number is 202-224-3121. And after you've made your calls, ask a friend to do this. Now, let me tell you why it's so important and why now is the moment. This is because while we have been sleeping, while we have been living our lives, this is what's been going on. The Senate, well, we have, of course, the House majority is Republicans. So they're going to pass through their committees the money to fund Donald Trump's budget. Remember, the deadline to get this done is January 30th, or they've got to do one of these, another continuing resolutions. So what we're seeing, of course, is all the action is at the Senate because they need to get 60 votes. And let me show you what they have been doing. And I don't want, hold on one second, let me blow this up. There's no way. I'm going to be getting clothing ads on the side of this, which tells you that I like clothing, I guess. So let me just, no matter what, hold on. I'm just going to try to share this, and sorry, I can't make them go away. Okay. Here we go. Maybe I can make it go away. What you're seeing here, make this ad go away, people. Here we go. It's going to be ads and ads. I don't like Gucci bags. Okay. Anyhow, this is annoying me, and I'm sorry. So here we go. Senate passes more spending bills, but Homeland Security dispute looms. Okay, here's what we got. This is by Kevin Frecking. It came out last night. So Congress, I'm reading this to you so you understand what's going on. Congress is halfway home in approving government funding for the current budget year that began October 1st, after the Senate on Thursday overwhelmingly passed a 3-bill package. Now comes the hard part. Lawmakers still must negotiate a spending bill for the Department of Homeland Security. I'm going to stop sharing now so I can talk to you. They still have to fund the Department of Homeland Security. That's next, right? And they've been putting that off because they know this is a non-starter when the nation is reeling because of the murder of Renee Nicole Good. So they need to pass all 12 bills before January 30th. And again, they've got a bunch of this done. So they package them up and they pass them. Now, remember, there had been that 43-day government shutdown. And that was in November. I think it's worth shutting down the government, again, not to fund Trump's masked Gestapo. So what else is going on now, I think you should know, is the bills that got passed 82-15. So it's not like just a few senators. They're really kind of overwhelmingly supporting everything in his government. So here's what we know. We know that, and I'm going to pull this screen back up. Oh, I can't do that right now, but let me just tell you that we have our senators in both houses, Democrats and Republicans, don't want another funding lapse. So this is, a problem for me because I am not okay with this giant additional funding for ICE. And this is the problem. This is what's happening. So I'm going to read from this article. The biggest hurdle ahead is the funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security. And the plan was to bring that bill before the House this week. But Representative Cole, that's over in the House, the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, said the decision was made to pull the bill and, quote unquote, buy some time as lawmakers respond to the Minnesota shooting. Okay, so we have Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, who is a Democrat, and she said, we can't deal with the lawlessness and terrorizing of our communities. We're going back and forth with offers, and that's where we are. So I want you to also know that 70 Democrats in the House have signed on to an effort to impeach Kristi Noem. That's not enough. I understand why others aren't doing that, because they know they don't have the votes in the Senate. But at the very least, don't you think we need to shut them down? The problem is, in the House, what Hakeem Jeffries is saying, and I'm going to quote him. He said, there are a variety of different things that can be done that we have put on the table and will continue to put on the table to get ICE under control so that they are actually conducting themselves like every other law enforcement agency. That's not going to happen. That's not what Donald Trump wants. So what I need to say to you is this. I want to say this to you. Chuck Schumer thinks the only thing we care about is affordability, because that's what his consultants and his donors are telling him. The only way they will see this any differently is by us doing two things. One, make this phone call to your senators, 202-224-3121. And the other thing we must do is join a walkout. I don't care if you do it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes. If you can't do it, tell a friend to. These 2-hour walkouts, wherever you are on Tuesday at 2 p.m., right? This is what we need to do. And I'm going to share that with you again. Okay, let me do that. I want you to see this website. I want you to understand that we have very little time left. And the problem, this is the walkout, January 20th. This is Tuesday, the Free America walkout. You can host an action. You can find an action. There's highlights, some highlights, Oklahoma City. Let's see what they're doing over here. They have a walkout downtown Oklahoma City. People are gathering at 2 p.m. at Bricktown Ballpark. And the people doing this there, the Women's March, the Democratic Socialists of America, General Strike US, Indivisible, and so on. Here we go. I'm showing you that, right? How about Washington, D.C.? What's going on there? Washington, D.C., it starts at 1 p.m. and ends at 3. It's going to be in Pershing Park. You get the idea. These are the things we can do. It's kind of like, have you ever gone to the doctor and you tell them, if you've got a good doctor, you tell them what's going on with you. And they're like, okay, whatever. You have to push to get the tests you need. This is the same kind of thing. Chuck Schumer and your senators have probably never heard from you. If you had given their campaign money, if you'd maxed out on that, if you are a big donor to the party, they know you. They have you on speed dial. They need to hear from us. They need to see our bodies walking out, and you need to call. And again, it's a really easy phone call to make, 202-224-3121. And again, I have this sample script you can use, and you can build on what I said earlier in the show. I am basically ending now. I want you to get the F off my show right now. and do this. And I'm going to put that up on the screen, the phone number, and then the script. I'm leaving it on my screen. I'm going to play the walkout music, but then I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to leave it on the screen so you can see the script and you can stare at it if you find it helpful while you are calling. And I'm going to leave it on for a little bit. Thank you. I won't be here on MLK Day because I'm going to be out observing the holiday, doing things in the community, honoring him. But I'll see you back on Tuesday, getting all psyched up with you for the walkout. Thanks for joining the show. So glad Tank is doing well. And so far, so are we. We can do this. Do